Okay, I had to restart the video. So I already have cards pulled out. I hate doing that, but this is what we're at. So this is the cards right now. I have this one that fell out face up, and then the rest of them fell out face down. So I haven't seen the rest of the cards yet. But this first card fell out face up. And what I was saying, I was talking about being in the energy of knowing that there's a lot going on in the world right now. But remaining positive regardless. The only thing that we can control is ourselves and our response to things. And so remaining positive is of the utmost importance. Also, there is a miracle coming. There's a miracle coming in my life. And if I'm able to express this, then it's coming in your life as well. I don't know what it looks like for you. I don't know what it looks like for you. I know what it looks like for me. I know what I'm being promised. I know what I'm about to receive. I also don't know for sure, but I'm embracing that. Today is a day of gratitude. The next 3 days are going to be days of complete gratitude. We should be in a state of gratitude regardless, right? That should constantly be our go-to always, is to be thankful for life, to be thankful for the things that we have. The less that we have, the more thankful that we should be. The less that we have, the easier it should be to be so thankful, because you only have a couple things to worry about. But practicing gratitude and practicing the alchemization of ingratitude, right, into being able to be thankful for things is huge and super important. It's what raises your vibration and what allows you to receive things with a sense of opportunity and to be able to make the most of things that way. But it's also how the universe is going to continue to give you more. It's not going to want to give you more if you're not already thankful for what you have. So remember that. And especially like right now, it's Thanksgiving time. I don't really celebrate holidays. I have no intent of celebrating Thanksgiving. I'm not anywhere where I could. Really, I don't really necessarily have the means for that anyways. But I'm still thankful. I'm still incredibly grateful. In fact, to be in a space where like the weather is so nice here, I know that something's coming exactly when I need it. And I'm looking forward to that, but I'm also trying to just rest in this space of like not being anxious of like, okay, well, I need that thing, or waiting on the thing that way. Just being thankful, knowing that I'm going to be cared for. I'm going to be provided for by the universe, and that of those provisions, I'm going to be able to give out of myself. So I know that I'm moving forward in this direction of being able to have more to give, and that's quite exciting for me. I'm very thankful the more that I have to give of myself, the more that I have to just put this life to use. I do my very best with it, always. And, so the more that I have, the more I have to give. The more abundance that's given to me, the more abundance I have to give to others and into the world. And the more I have going for me, the more that I make happen. And I had a meeting yesterday. Was that yesterday that I had a meeting? Yes. And it really helped me to start looking forward into what it is that I want to do with my life, what it is that I'm called to do with my life at this time, and how to really make the most of that. And so I'm buckling down on that, and I'm excited to move forward in that direction, and that's where I'm maintaining focus. Now, granted, there is a lot going on in the world. It is trying to keep me down. It's trying to create this sense of why look forward when there's no certainty of things, or when there's even this trepidation of bad things happening. I'm not concerned about that. I have a victory in my heart and in my soul, and a gratitude in my heart and my soul for where I am at right now. right now, and for how that is going to serve the future. It is not for me to control those things. It's for me just to do the very most with whatever I'm given at any given time. And I do that. And I'm very excited to be given more in order to be able to do that with. And I know that the universe is going to provide these things because I've been doing the work. You know, it's kind of like you get into a role when you're working where once you've been paid a certain way, you know, like, okay, this, you know, then every week or every 2 weeks or every 3 months or whatever it is, like, this is when the thing is coming. It's kind of like that. Like, you already know. You can look forward to payday, right? And that means so many different things, too. Like, payday to the average person doesn't just like, okay, now I have all this money I can sit on and hoard. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like, okay, now I can pay these bills. Now I can cover this thing. Now I can improve this thing. Now I can invest in this way. So whether it's material or spiritual, emotional, intellectual, whether it comes from personal relationships or romantic relationships or just one's own personal relationship with themselves, you know, all of these different things are part of that energy transference of getting paid and being able to make the most of it, and leading to that sense of how are you going to use those things and then invest in those things afterwards. So we're in really crazy times where manifestation is at an all-time high. And so remaining in a positive manifesting capacity is quite important. There's so much on my head that's like trying to get me to think about negative things or about things that I should fear, about things that would make me uncertain, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Drink some water. Drink some water is a good option. The first card that came out, okay, this card, all of these cards came out, but the card that fell face down is Lord of Victory. Lord of Victory, and it's a beautiful card. I had already started the reading and started to read this card when I had to stop it, so I haven't looked at any of the other cards, but this is the card that came out face up, so I put it in the middle. Six of Wands, the Lord of Victory. So it looks like an eye here, and then there's these hands that come up, and it almost looks like they're like breaking it, like they're breaking bread. So it's like breaking open this perception in order to receive sustenance. And the thing about these hands too is that they look like these thumbs are very like strong, but like kind of crooked. Like they look very hardened. These look like the hands of somebody, like they're like working hands. And then I noticed that there's also these shackles on their wrists. And so it gave me this impression of them being slaves' hands, but there is no chains binding them. So it's breaking free from slavery, breaking free from a certain enslavement, breaking free from a certain perception that has caused one to be enslaved, opening that up and creating an abundance out of it. You know, we have these two eagles that are like a sign of independence, a sign of freedom, a sign of strength, a sign of being able to, I mean, they're scavengers. They put to use what would otherwise be considered dead. And then I also noticed that there's like these clusters of things that are on fire. And they very much, to me, reminded me of, in a reading that I did yesterday, there was a character, in one of the readings that I did yesterday, there was a character that had a scepter. And on his scepter, he had what looked to be one of those dried seed pods that, like Rafiki, kind of like what Rafiki had in Lion King, right? Only they're a different one, and they're all clustered together, and it just gave me these voodoo vibes. That's what I kept saying in the card as I was reading it yesterday. when they're dried and they shake and they rattle, and it just gave me these voodoo vibes. And so this is giving me, like, these are on fire, right? And so it's giving me a sense of, like, there were multiple different curses established, potentially ancestrally. Like, this is like breaking ancestral curses, but also just breaking one's own curses over one's own perception, right? And it's also Lord of Victory in the sense that, like, embracing that there are miracles happening and that good is coming and that we're reaping what we've sown. Victory, right? There's a sense of victory in when you've ran a race, okay, and you keep running the race and it gets hard, and like right at the end is when you really want to give up. But that's the worst time to give up, obviously. You've ran this entire race. Don't give up now. Keep pushing to the finish line. But it's that sense where, like, if you have ran far enough and long enough, it doesn't even matter if you're the first one to win. If you're running a race, you want to win, that you want to run that you may win, right? But if you've been running long enough, it, like, doesn't even matter who else gets ahead of you or who's behind you. It just matters that you succeed, that you get to the end of that race, right? And you're almost like trying to beat your own time sort of deal. So victory can mean all these different types of things for different people. But there's this sense of victory where crossing that finish line, being able to be like, I did it. I really did it. And being able to see the rewards of that. I was saying it during my meeting yesterday. We were talking about, I'm looking into the future and into establishing myself in the future and what I want to be doing with myself in the future. And as I started kind of cultivating these concepts, I was visualizing them much more and raising my energy that way in order to visualize them much better. And I was seeing that once these things come into alignment, there's things coming into alignment for me that are completely out of my control right now. I've been doing what is within my control as much as I possibly can. It's left me with there's been a lot of anxiety that I've been that I've been observing, not absorbing, because I haven't known what more to do. I've been in this situation so many times before, and I've continued to grow and develop better and get stronger every time, and to use it for something greater and greater every time. And it's really changed my perspective and my perception of myself and of the reality that I exist within. And it's over time pushed me into this place where what I receive goes to better and better every time as well. And so I'm finally in a place where I can really use what I'm given for the greatest good. I can be confident in that. I have a confidence in that. I have a confidence in my skills to be able to do what it is that I want to do with my life. And so these things that are coming together, so much of it I can't see. I just trust. I know. I'm being reminded that, like, it's not about being able to see them. It's about being able to feel them, being able to move in that direction, and then they fall into place, right? So I'm recognizing that that's happening. There's incredible things coming for me. There's provisions coming for me in order to ensure that I can do these specific types of work, and it's about moving out on faith in those types of ways. It has taken so much for me to be able to cultivate this capacity to be able to move in faith that way. And that's so funny. I gotta sneeze. Blessings. Clear out that energy. It's true, though. There are provisions coming for me that have been mine, but weren't given to me. And the universe made that allowance for a time so that I could learn what I've learned now in order to be able to have the confidence that I have now to be able to step into these things. And it's not even rewarding me for the confidence as much as just the confidence is allowing me to be in the proper space in order to be able to put these things to the greatest use. So there is good provisions. There is security, wealth, stability, support, the right clients, the right time. All of these things are all coming together for me, and the universe is just continuing to move me into the right space to be able to receive of these things properly. The meeting that I had yesterday was very helpful for me to be able to remind myself of how sure I can be of these things and to continue moving forward in that direction. And then I was reminded today that there is, I've done the work. Now I can trust that these things are going to fall into alignment that way. And so I do. And I'm getting a feeling like this is just a totally personal reading right now. So I'm like, I don't even need to record it necessarily, but hold on. I ask my angels, my guides, the universe, the highest powers in the universe, my highest power. I ask that I come into alignment with my highest power so that I can move into this proper alignment. I ask that whatever this energy is completely released, that I can embrace this energy of breaking these chains, of being freed, of moving out of these negative perceptions, of breaking this curse. I ask that these curses are set on fire and completely done away with, completely disintegrated, that these chains are completely disintegrated, that these negative perceptions are completely cracked and broken open, and that these things can be used for my sustenance, on top of the miracles that I know that I'm receiving, on top of this abundance that I know that is coming, on top of this security and these finances that I am receiving. I am actively in the act of receiving right now. They are headed in my direction right now. They are coming to me right now. Within this week, I will be completely provided for financially, and I do trust that. I claim that. I trust and rest assured in that. That's the best that I have, and so I trust that the universe is going to care for me because I have that faith, and it will reward that faith. And it will give me what is necessary for me to be able to continue to give back. Everything that is given for me is given so that I can give back. All of the abundance that are given to me are given so that I can give abundantly. I trust that, and I offer that in exchange. I banish whatever energy is trying to steal that, trying to rob that, trying to swap my destiny. I block all of those energies. I ask my spirit, my guides, my ancestors to also banish that energy and to block that energy. If you aren't for me, at this point in time, you are against me. And I'm not waging war. I'm not starting a war. I'm not engaging in war. I'm not stirring the pot. I am walking away from that, and I am walking into a new life. I'm walking into something so much greater than that, and with abundance, and with assurance, with strength, and with confidence, and with the stability and security that I require in order to make the most of those things. This coming year is going to be one of great finances, and thus great abundance, as I'm able to take those finances and invest them and turn them into something so much more and so much greater. And this week, even, I'm going to be provided for financially. My bills are going to be covered, and I'm going to have enough that I can move forward with confidence without questioning about money. Money is not going to be a concern. I have done the work. I've done the work, and there are things that I have been gifted and owed that have not been given to me yet, and the universe is bringing those things to me as we speak. As we speak, I will receive a message that is clear and concise, that I have perfect access to, that these things are mine to receive, and I will receive them this week. So I rest assured in that, and any energy that's trying to convince me otherwise, I banish and I block and I return it back to you, because I have done the work, and because I rest assured in my faith, and because I work with my guides and my ancestors, and I'm in alignment with my highest power, and I rest assured of these things I do. No longer, this curse is being broken. This curse is being broken. No longer am I going to have to concern myself with these kind of things. Instead, I will be able to help move others out of these cycles. I have already leveled up. So this energy that is trying to convince me that that isn't the case, to try to pull me back, is not from me, and I block it. I banish it. I want nothing to do with it. I'm no longer engaging with these energies. I trust the universe to provide for me. I do not need anything outside of me. I trust the universe to provide. I can see that these things are in alignment. These cards could have fallen any way, but they fell this specific way for a specific reason. This card fell face up in this position for this reason. That I can rest assured of my victory and my success. That these chains are broken. That the abundance is mine. These things are headed to me right now as we speak. By the time that this reading is done, I will receive some sort of sign that these things are in motion. And at the exact right time of divine timing, I will be able to receive of these things. And this week, I will be cared for and be able to move directly into my future. Thank you. I thank you, guides. I thank you, angels. I thank you, ancestors. I thank all of those energies and entities that are working in higher realms, in other dimensions, for my greatest good, my highest power, to keep me in alignment with my highest power, to move me into the direction of my divine abundance, in order to bring about this full, healed community in which I am able to process through me that healing in order to give it to others. This community of higher dimensions and higher beings that have called me to a specific work so that I can be used as a tool for this work, so that I can help bring others up into this space. I thank you. I thank you for using me. I thank you for trusting me with this. And I thank you for providing for me to move into this space where I could be trusted with these things. I take these things very seriously. And I will continue to take these things seriously. I am confident in my capacities to be able to make the most of these things. I'm confident in the provisions of the universe to care for me, to provide for me, and that everything that is given to me is given directly for me to move in these specific directions. And I listen. I listen and I pay attention and I watch and I learn and I receive and I move in the directions that I'm called to move. I've been in this waiting period just to see if I would jump the gun, and I have not. To see if I would keep the faith, and I have. I've been in this time of peace and security to trust that these things are going to be provided for me, and I do. And they are. And I'm so thankful for this. I'm so thankful for this. Please break open my perception and break open my heart more and more so that I can be more open to receiving just the simple gratitude of these things, that is the energy that pours out of me, more than even my confidence, more than even my assurance, more than even my wisdom that I have gathered from the experiences that I've had and the education that I have to be able to process those things, to give that education to others. Please let gratitude be the first thing on my lips, always, the first thing in my mind, always the first thing on my heart, always. Please let gratitude be the thing that pours out from me of this abundance, that it can be what I give to others in abundance, that all of these things will speak on the truth of the divine, on the truth of aligning ourselves with the divine in order to receive of these things, on the truth of the universal balance the eternal balance within the universe, that my gratitude will speak of these things, that my gratitude will bring these things into fruition for all of those who my life touches. I release control. And in releasing control, I also release enslavement. In releasing my demands, I embrace gratitude, I embrace abundance. I release ingratitude. No longer do these energies serve me, so they have no power over me. I thank the universe for constantly guiding me in the direction of my own destiny, and I embrace that. I embrace the uncertainty of it. I embrace the assuredness of it. I am so thankful for the things that I'm given and to be able to use them for the benefit of others. I ask for continued guidance in order to be able to use these things properly for others. I care for myself, and out of the caring for myself, others are cared for. I am provided for so that I can provide for others. I take this work seriously, and I ask that my guides, my angels, my ancestors remain close to me. Those that are in service of my greatest good and my highest power. That through being taught, I can teach. I ask that I am open to such things, open to receiving this abundance, that I know exactly what to do with it, exactly how to invest, and that I do not use it selfishly, that I don't use it flippantly, that I don't overspend, that I don't invest into the wrong things, that my wisdom and perception of these things is clear, that the curse that has kept me from being able to properly receive these things is broken, and that I'm able to make the most of this abundance that's being given to me. I thank you, universe, for all that you have always provided, and for how you have maintained me to this point, and for all of the provisions that will come from this abundance. I thank you for the world that we are able to build together as I co-create with you, the universe. I thank you for everything that has guided me to this point, and for using me as an example to help others be led to this point as well. I ask for continued grace. I ask that I have continued grace, that I have continued patience. And that as these things come into my life and raise my vibrations, that I can put that energy into the right things. Please remove all of this negativity from me. Please remove all of this tendency to be given to these energies from me. I put them all away. I trust in the universe, and I trust for the right people to come into my life the right ways. I trust for the right energies. I release all of the ideas, concepts, aspirations that I've had that do not serve my highest destiny, that would take from this divine abundance that is being given to me. And I embrace what is truly part of my destiny, trusting the universe to guide me in those directions, to move me with those people the right way. Please give me continued wisdom. Please clear my perception so that I can receive of these things properly. There is so much energy in the universe that would try to take of this unrightfully. Please give me wisdom. Please let me rest assured on the path that I've been called to, and in how to use this abundance for the greatest good. Please keep me simple. Please keep me humble. As I rise in this abundance, please keep me simple, and please keep me humble, and please keep me guided in what serves the universe the best. As the universe gives to me, I give back to the universe, knowing that the universe already has all of these things in hand, in mind, and is only using me as a tool for its own betterment and benefit. And that I only receive betterment and benefit from those things because I am in alignment. Please let this abundance speak on the truth of the universe, not the strength of my own capacities, but that those will be used as guides for others to come into their own. That this abundance will speak on the truth and on faith in the right things and in the universe. And that all of these other aspects of myself that would like to take in that abundance will be done away with. They don't speak of me, because I speak on behalf of the universe. I am just a tool for the abundance of the universe to be received back unto itself as it moves through me. Please remove these blockages that have kept me from that abundance. There is so much I have set up and convinced myself is my identity, and I ask that those things be removed of me when they do not truly speak of me or the abundance that the universe is using through me. I ask for balance. I ask for grace. I ask for strength. And I ask for wisdom to be able to wade through these things properly in a way that truly speaks on the abundance of the universe, not of my own power. That I can be used as an example of what it looks like to be simple, to trust in one's own capacity to be connected to the universe as a whole. I'm just one person. I'm only human, and I ask that those things can be used as examples for all the others that are only one single human to be able to come into this truth and this grace for themselves, and not for the reward that comes with it. For to whom much is given, much is expected. But that this will speak of a process of growth and of faith and of coming into alignment with our highest goals and our highest powers. Lord of oppression in reverse, the Lord of material success in reverse, the Lord of unstable effort in reverse, the Spirit of ether in reverse. Ten of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, the Fool, and the Seven of Swords, all in reverse. But they're not in reverse. Cards all came in the reverse. I flipped them that way. But I'm being asked to change my mind, to come into a changing of perception. So we no longer receive things in the reverse. That may not stand for every reading, but what I'm getting right now is no longer taking things in the reverse because I don't need things to be in the negative in order to alchemize them into a positive. The positive is just coming, and it's for me to do the very most with. It's one thing to be able to make gold out of nothing or even out of something negative, but it's something entirely different to be able to make more gold out of gold, right? To continue to invest in those things, to make gold something even more than gold. In comparison to nothing or even a negative, gold may seem like the standard. But in comparison to gold, it's a base material. The streets of heaven are paved with gold. The thing you walk on, the dirt in heaven, is gold. There were so many things higher than gold. It's not about having to alchemize things, it's about being able to receive things as they are. But to also only receive good. The Lord of oppression is in reverse because we are releasing the sense of oppression. And in that, we are also releasing the oppression that the idea of material success has held over us. Because a fear of material success and partnered with this desire for it has kept us enslaved. The idea of freedom not being free. The idea of freedom being entrapped in of itself. We're doing away with that. The Lord of unstable effort is in the reverse, and that's because we're releasing that, and that's why the Fool is also in reverse. Because we are no longer expected to leap out on blind faith, because we know, because we entrust ourselves to the universe, because it's not blind, we can see. Having to look through our eyes, having to define things materially, having to have this energetic quality to reason has been a curse that we are breaking. We are breaking these perceptions in order to receive sustenance. All I'm hearing is that we're no longer oppressed, and we're no longer in this unstable effort energy. So we're no longer tying ourselves to this concept of material success. It doesn't our victory is not one that's material. It's not about receiving a trophy. And even once we receive the trophy, we continue to run. Even when we receive material abundance, there isn't this sense of lording over material success in the idea that there's something to obtain materially in order to feel successful. We claim victory without those standards. And thus we open ourselves to the capacity to be able to receive all material success without a cap. We're no longer moving like children that are immature and uncertain and afraid, but we are moving, it's not even afraid, but uncertain. We're moving in faith to be able to walk out on that water, to know that we can stand. To know that we are provided for through our faith by the universe. That we are not oppressed even by the tangibility of existence, even by the laws of reality. We're not lorded over by this concept of unstable effort in the sense that there is a very specific stability that we have to reach, and then we're constantly trying to balance, and it's always this idea that we're just trying to balance these things. We are balanced. We are victorious. Roots came in the reverse. Coming under the card of the Lord of Victory, with these curses being broken, this voodoo being dispelled, this slavery being completely emancipated, these concepts being broken open for our own sustenance. This being in the reverse, it's being able to receive from those roots up to the benefits. But it's also releasing those things. The white rabbit has gone to sleep. The white rabbit is in hibernation. Perhaps it's even been buried. Because we're no longer just chasing a dream. We are coming into a full sense of fulfillment. We can rest assured in this state of hibernation. We can rest assured that the work is already being done through the universe in order to grow us up, in order to give us what we need. We are both the rabbit and the tree. And in this way, even when we are at rest, we are still actively receiving, we are still actively growing, we are still receiving in abundance, in a sustenance, and thus we can provide that back out as the tree. And in the reverse, it's giving me more of that real sense, like it's not just that the trees, that the branches are providing a cover. It's that the roots themselves are providing a sustenance for that. And like the roots, if this were to come out in the upright underneath the Lord of Victory, it would cause this weird sense of doubt. Seeing it in the reverse is actually quite positive for me because it speaks on that victory, that there has been root work that's been done and it's being broken. It's being shifted. The wheels are turning, the tides are changing, it's being done away with and being brought back to the benefit of the tree. And it's coming in under Lord of Victory, right? It's coming in under the breaking of these things. That out of the breaking of these curses is coming this victory, in order to create this sustenance, in order to create this sense of peace and assurance and stability. That it's not having to come outside of oneself and anything that I'm doing, that I can rest assured that these things are coming to me in order to raise me up to become the provider that I am meant to be. That the work has already been done, and that these things are already moving in that direction. That by the time these things are done burning, I will be able to come out of hibernation and move into something so much greater. Underneath the Fool in reverse, we have Bracelet. And underneath the Seven of Swords in the reverse, we have the Sun. Beautiful. These both came out in the upright. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing is that the moons in these cards are the opposite, right? So we have the beginning of a phase, the epoch of a phase, and then as it moves into the end of this phase. In the beginning, we have the Fool in the reverse, learning how to be patient, learning how to wait, learning how to sit in uncertainty, and then to move out on faith. But no, it's really, we're moving out on faith, but it's all being cultivated. There is a specific reason that I have been put in this time and place of rest and uncertainty and seeming stagnancy. And if this is relating to you at all, I don't know if I'm going to even post this or not, but if I do, and if this is relating to you, then these things will resonate you. When I say me, I'm merely saying you. Bracelet. A butterfly, a flower, and a heart. Holding a flower. The sense of beauty. This Lord of Victory card with the hands that I said look like slave hands. They have shackles on them. And this is the idea that something around your wrist doesn't have to be a shackle. It can be something beautiful. But these very things that have tied you down will become the very things that lift you up. But with this being at the beginning, there's also Saturn in this card. So it's also giving this opposite, like many of the beautiful things. Things that brought us love and beauty and appreciation and transformation. Were the things that were, if you, here. Okay, so the way this is the way I have it set up. I'm talking about this card, right? It's under the Fool here. Then we have the Lord of Material Success here, the Six of Wands in the upright, the Lord of Oppression, the Ten of Wands in the reverse, and then the Seven of Swords, the Lord of Unstable Effort here. Okay. So, as I'm talking about this, things in the past, things in the beginning of this process when I first was put in this position, I was actually put in this position that I'm in right now back during the last position I was in. The last position that I was in was one of working for a very specific abundance that I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly what I was working for. I knew exactly what was expected of me. And it was being told to do that for a very specific time. And knowing that what I would receive from that would then put me into this position that I'm in right now, where I would be waiting on the next thing, on a greater abundance, on this give of the universe. So it was doing a specific work, trusting that it was the right thing, seeing the tangible benefit of that tangible work, moving me into a space of then saying, okay, now you can rest assured. You can. It was kind of like going into hibernation in that way, where it was like gathering all of these things so that you could put them away, so that you could move into this space, so that you could begin to hibernate, right? And in that, I found myself learning how to love myself properly, better than I had been. I was overeating, I was stress eating, I wasn't taking the best care of myself in that way. I was really overdoing caffeine. But I had also stopped engaging sexually. I struggled with it a bit, but I had stopped engaging sexually. I had taken up celibacy, and I stopped smoking pot, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking cigarettes. So I was kind of, at the time, counter coping for those things I had given up with overeating and overdoing my caffeine. But at the same time, I was still learning how to balance out these things. And so my focus became very much on beauty. And when I first started to when I first in this position of receiving, my concept of self-love, of beauty, and of my transformation was quite material. It was like, oh, let me have this flower, and then to pick that flower. There's a saying, I believe it's by the Buddha, that if you truly loved a flower, if you saw a flower and were like, oh my God, I love that flower, you wouldn't pick it. You would let it live. Because when you pick something, you're claiming it for yourself, like, oh, look at this beautiful thing, put it in your ear, but it's now dying and will die, and you should have just let it grow. If you really love something, you would just let it grow. And it's that concept of love isn't giving or taking as much as it's just letting things be. But at the beginning of this process, my concept was still quite material, and it was on material success. And that was largely in part because that is what I was working for, and that was part of what I was meant to be working for in order to get myself into this position of being able to hibernate, which is happening right here. This is what this period of time is. This is moving into the future. So going into this hibernation, I'm focused on material success and a material abundance. I'm gathering up all of these things so that I can continue in this Fool in the reverse energy, right? But it was also about prioritizing those things. And putting to death other things. I was just going through this balance of working these things out in myself. And so in the same way, I was looking forward, where I was like, the material success that I received from the work that I had done was to get me into this position, but I wasn't seeing that as my ultimate material success. I was seeing being able to go through my hibernation and come out on the other side with an abundance as being the true victory. So I wasn't clinging to material success, but I still, at the beginning of this, did have this concept like bracelet. Like I had this idea of adorning myself to some degree. Whereas I moved in to this position where I'm at now, I'm seeing that it's kind of almost like if you had these shackles around your wrists as a slave, and that you were like, there's a picture of Tupac, right? Where he has shackles, they're gold, and he's like holding them up like as if they're something to be so proud of. And it's supposed to be alluding to that concept, like how foolish that can seem, and how so much of these games and systems would make us identify ourselves by our own enslavement. And, we wear all these chains around our necks, but they're gold, so, we feel like kings, when really that is an enslavement. And so this process has been to remove myself from those things, to break those concepts in a different way. It's not to not still care for myself or to still do different things for myself physically. I like it. It's not. I like to do those things, but it's not about that. It's about in the beginning of this time, I viewed being able to dress a certain way and having certain things in order to dress that way and in order to appear that way. I held that as an integral part of my value, where now I'm in this position of, I've gone through this so many times before, the humbling aspect of not having anything, so that you stop identifying yourself by those things. But then it's almost like as I have those things, that I'm in this position of being like, okay, but I want those things. But what's been being removed from me is the enslavement concept to those things, to this idea of material success, where as this abundance comes to me, it's not so that I can have a nicer place to live and have a fancier car and have nicer clothes and present myself a certain way. It's not to gain me any of that notoriety that way, but rather to provide for me what I need in order to survive, and to create this balance where what I need in order to survive is also sustaining the larger community, that it may thrive. And like I said, I'm both the rabbit and the tree in this way, where these things being provided for me are also supposed to be hidden in a certain way, so that it's not about, taking of those things and claiming them as my own, but taking for them to provide for my own, so that I can provide then for others. Which I did notice myself. Like I had spent, I spent over $300. I'd worked for literally 24 hours a day for 2 months straight. I was there for 3 months, training and stuff like that too. And doing this job, that's what I'd been doing. And most of the time that I was working, I was wearing the same couple clothes that I had for months and months, and just these few clothes that I had brought with me. And last year, I pretty much had the same 4 outfits that I wore basically the entire year long, because that's all that I had, and I had been on the street for 7 weeks last year. And I used to want to be a fashion designer, and so dressing a certain way and presenting myself a certain way has always been important to me. And it's actually been a large part of considering development for myself, especially moving into the future. I want to move into this appearance and to be received that way. And it's not that isn't necessarily for me, but that should not be the guiding factor for anything. And like the first thing I did when I started to receive of my abundance was invest in my physical appearance. And at the time, especially, it was largely in part because it was a self-care method, because I hadn't been caring for myself in more important ways, like with my diet and with my fitness. So it's like, okay, but if you have a fancy dress, which granted, I don't think I spent more than $7 on a dress that I got, but if you have a dress, then like it's okay if you're a little fat because you still look really nice, right? So like those were the ideas that kind of those were the things that I was given to, and that's the process that I've come through to this degree too, where it's like, no, the most important thing is to care for myself from the inside out and to let those things reflect that way. And it's not about other people being able to look at me and being like, oh yeah, look at that. It's about people being able to see through me, their capacity for themselves too. You know, I would be very tempted to be given to things like BBLs or any sort of work that type of way. If I just had all of this money all the time and all of this different influence socially and different things like that, like even as I consider like doing adult entertainment, like that's something that's always come into that, where it's like, oh, my appearance becomes such a big part of things, but like that's not what's being asked of me from the universe, is to concern myself with those things. I've already been given incredible abundance naturally, and it's about me taking care of those things properly. So like when I receive this abundance, it's not about going and eating fast food because that satisfies me in some momentary, very shallow way. And then like, you know, being given to being able to intake as much caffeine as I want, or be able to get on drugs and be able to do all these different things while like I have surgeries to make myself appear a certain way. All of that is very counterintuitive to the abundance that the universe is giving to me. And so this is kind of just a reminder too, to just not be given to those types of things. Even if I haven't before, being able, that's a big thing. I haven't had before what is being given to me now. And, I'm breaking ancestral curses. This has been generations of poverty mindset, and thus impoverished manifestations, and being given to all types of different things ancestrally, you know, like throughout these past generations in my family, because we haven't been given to this type of abundance and haven't quite known what to do with it. And then like, man, there's been so much that's happened in my life that has cultivated this point, because my dad's dad has a lot of money and he's like hoarded it because he worked so hard for it, but that like left like this issue with money also in my family, especially with my mom, like growing up. So this is a large part of what's being broken through me. I hope that this is cohesive for anybody that is listening. The universe wants to give you more than what was given to you ever in your life before. More than what was ever given to your parents. More than what was ever given to your grandparents. Or their parents. 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 It's been going on for quite some time. And so it's really about not being given, you know, to the same sort of qualities that have always existed in those generations that have been passed down, these ancestral traumas that have been passed down that way. It's breaking these things so that this can be put to proper use, so that it's not mishandled the way that it has been in the past. As we move forward then into the future, we have the sun underneath the Lord of Unstable Effort in the reverse. And it's that in this consistency that's being built over time, we moved through the Lord of Oppression, but that's in reverse now too. So now that we've released those things, it was the same sort of thing too, where like being able to rest. This is the first time in my life I've been able to actually rest and like be at peace. And that's largely in part because I never trusted the universe to provide. I never trusted myself enough to provide for myself. So like any time that I was in a position where I could rest, I always felt very, very guilty about it, because there was still so much more work to be done. And I've come to this place of being able to rest and to trust that even when things seem so terribly uncertain, that what's meant to be done is being done, and that I can rest assured in the work that I have done. But it is about breaking these things and resting in new things, and not being oppressed by anything. And so this Lord of Unstable Effort, it's part of that too. It's that I've learned a consistent work. I've learned how to manage my money in a way that generations of my family have not. Generations of my family have always been working from the bottom up. But I've mastered that. I've mastered that to the point that it's no longer about turning shit into gold. It's about turning gold into something so much greater. I think I said it in a different reading before, but it's like climbing through all of these different layers of hell just to end up on earth. And every one of my generations prior to me has done, if they did all that work, a lot of them never got themselves out of hell, to be honest. But even the ones that did all that work to get themselves out of hell found themselves at the base of reality. They found themselves now finally just on earth. And the realization that there was so much more to do and so much further to go wasn't properly embraced. It created a sense of being oppressed. And they fell back into a victim mentality, and they fell back into unstable effort. Making demands without being consistent. But I've learned enough to move through that. I've learned enough to see these things positively. Now, the sun has this line down their face, so it's almost like there's two faces to the sun. So it's giving me this idea where, like, as I've been through this path before, my ancestors have come through this, so I've been through this. Always fell on one side of receiving positivity. Where, like I said, it's like, everything's so negative, and we're just alchemizing it into something positive. We're turning shit into gold. But that's only one side of positivity. That is positive. That is the sun. There is so much to be thankful for in that space. There is so much abundance in that space. But we're talking about something else. We're talking about something even greater than that. We're talking about something that goes beyond that hasn't been fully recognized yet. Like I said, that's this idea that, like, there isn't an end that we're reaching. There isn't this destination where suddenly everything is all great and good. Everything that we receive is only so that we can put more out, so that we can do more. All of the abundance given to us so that we can create more abundance. Invest. Invest. Not just alchemize, but invest. What are you even doing with all the gold that you've created out of all the shit that you've been given? You know, do something greater with it. It's not enough just to have a bunch of coins in your pocket. It's not enough to be able to afford a really nice house for yourself and to be able to travel everywhere that you want. You enjoy the finer things in life when you are coming from a mindset of the finer things. Because if you do so much work just so that you can sit back and have to do nothing, that is still unstable effort. You have to be willing to receive as much as you give and to give as much as you receive. Bothing, right? So rest when you need, but don't ever stop. Embrace loving yourself, embrace beauty, embrace transformation, but don't let those things define you. Make the most out of everything, but don't have to go without or to receive negativity just to make a positive. We're breaking these curses. These curses are already broken. This perception is already broken open. These things are already done away with. And out of those things is coming these solid roots, these new roots. And like the tree, like it's pointed right at me. There's that card, I brought it up in other readings. That I believe is from the Spanish, some sort of Spanish tarot oracle. It basically says in Spanish that he who finds shade under a good tree finds good shade. Sorry, but it's in Spanish. And it's finding that in myself, being able to trust those things in myself. Be able to trust in what I'm receiving and be able to bring it back out through me. Again, it's not about me at all. This is a wild reading. The readings I've had more recently have all been like pretty cohesive. They've like been weirdly like all of a sudden they just like resolve and it's like, oh, I guess that's it. I feel like I should keep talking, but I guess that's it. This one is unique. I don't know if I'm even going to post this. But if you're watching it, then obviously I did. Big things are coming. I'm so thankful to be in the position that I'm in and to be able to receive of these things and to be able to do the work that I'm doing. All I have ever truly wanted. It's nice to have nice things. It's nice to be able to enjoy all of these different pleasures that life has, but available. But all that I've truly ever wanted is to make this world better than I found it, to make it more sustainable, easier even, but not in like a convenience comfort way. Just in a way where like sex abuse doesn't abound and 8-year-olds aren't trying to kill themselves. I've gone through some really wicked things that I didn't deserve. I mean, I was innocent. As a child, I just, no child deserves any of those things. But I am so thankful to be somebody who could experience those things because I know I'm not the only one. But I've been blessed with this integration of the universe in order to receive this abundance, in order to really, really affect change, true change, genuine change. We're seeing it happen in the world. We're seeing it happen in the world. These people aren't being able to stay in the sense of power that they always have been. People that have been given to very specific types of wickedness, especially against children, are shaking in their boots as well as they should. And I'm just so thankful to be able to be a part of it. Because in my heart of hearts, all that I ever wanted was to ensure that no other child that was like me had to go through the things that I went through, just to get to where I am. Now, obviously, we can't, no, the world is changing. I don't even want to speak negativity. The world is changing. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of it, and I'm so blessed to be able to receive all of the abundance from the universe that I have and that I will continue to be able to do these things. Everything that I'm being given is to make the world a better place. Not just to make my life more comfortable, not to make me more attractive or influenceable to people. It's not about me. It's to make the world a better place. For all those that come after me. For all those that didn't get the chances that I've gotten. And I'm so thankful to be able to be a tool for those things. It is because I will use those things that way that the universe wants to give me those things and will give me those things and is actively giving me those things. Thank you, angels, guides, ancestors, all of those in higher realms that are working for my greatest good and out of my highest power, to bring me into alignment with my highest power and my greatest good, my ultimate destiny. I thank you. Thank you for these things. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this abundance. Please keep me straight. Please keep me humble. Please keep me sure. Give me wisdom. Give me strength. Give me grace. Give me a clear perspective, a humble perception. Allow me to be used in the greatest of ways. to effect the greatest of changes. Protect me, protect my peace. Remove all of the energies and entities that I would be given to allow blockages in my life. Do not let me allow those blockages any longer. Remove those things. I banish those things. People, places, things, ideas that are not meant for me, that are not in alignment with my greatest destiny. I remove those things. I release those things. I block those things. I banish those things. And I thank you, universe, for this abundance and for all the incredible work that will be done through it. Thank you for this miracle, and thank you for the miracles that come from it. See you in the next one.